Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 138 of the Revive Yourself podcast. Here we go.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Have you got a health issue that just won't go away no matter what you try? Then welcome to the Revive Yourself podcast, where we reveal the secrets to long-lasting health by getting to the root cause of problems that no one else is talking about. So you can have more energy, clear skin, healthier hair, a leaner physique, more confidence, and most importantly, do the things you love and live the life you deserve. Here's your host, Ryan Martin.
So everybody, welcome back to the show, episode 138. 100 if you're from the East End of London, or 100 if you speak the Queen's. 138. So yes, as always, the everything's been going well. The last episode with Gary and John got some really good messages. A little fun episode, and we'll be doing some more of them next time I'm up there. Meet the guys. We'll be getting them on the show, and we're going to do one with the ladies as well. I'm going to get them on the show so we can talk all about women's health and their struggles, etc. I think that would be a really cool, interesting show. We've got some great ladies in our group, all fantastic coaches with phenomenal experience and just great at what they do. So I know that show will be wicked when it comes out. So that being the pipeline, definitely for next time we all meet up. As always, before we get into the show, guys and girls, if you head on over to www.reviveyourself.co, go on our shop. We've got all the products there that I recommend, and they are being added to all the time. And it's a great way if you want to help us to float the show, to me, to get some great guests on, because it allows us to just to sort of pay for the hours, basically. If you can back us by buying the supplements from there, that would greatly help us. So we can keep on bringing you fantastic guests. We've got really good stuff across the board, all from Evolution Organics with our Living Fuel Super Berry and Super Greens. In my opinion, are two superior. There's no products like it on the market. They are the best all-round product on the market bar none. They can be used as a meal replacement or as a supplement. Everything in it is just full of goodness. As I always say, 2 scoops of it is the equivalent of $260 worth of organic produce. And we've got all the mushrooms from Four Sigmatic, the Chaga, the Cordyceps, Lion's Mane, and Reishi. If you're looking to, they're all fantastic. If you're looking to boost your brain function, there's a nootropic, Lion's Mane, they taste great. Back in the day when you had to try and have any sort of mushroom drinks, you had to try and boil them up and break them down. It was a nightmare, whereas Four Sigmatic, I put them into powder form, add them to any of your teas. If you drink coffee, I wouldn't, but if you do, put them to your coffee. They taste great, and the benefits are fantastic. Reishi, if you're looking to just quieten down and get a good night's sleep, it's really relaxing as well. They're all immune boosting. Nothing can listen to a mushroom. In fact, we're trying to get Paul Stamets on the show. If you haven't listened to Paul Stamets talk before, he's just done a great episode with Joe Rogan on his show. Nothing can live with a mushroom. Mushrooms are they're just incredible. Incredible for so many things. That's why Cordyceps is fantastic for boosting the immune system. Lion's Mane is more of a nootropic, and Reishi is a great relaxer. They all boost the immune system, actually, but some people have got a few different things, like increasing mental clarity, mental sharpness for Lion's Mane. A lot of people in Silicon Valley are taking these now. There's a lot of high-level CEOs, sports players taking them before they go onto the pitch, because they know how much they increase brain function. And we've also got our great in Finchley Clinic. I've got our product from Dr. Zach Bush, Restore, made of all organic compounds. It allows us to really heal and seal the gut. Anyone who's been having non-organic produce, should be having this product, because it's allowing you to heal and seal your gut. Non-organic produce being sprayed by glyphosate, which is really, really disrupting the gut microbiome, and it's a big issue. So this product from Dr. Zach Bush is it's a unique product, and something that I think everyone should have. Then we've got the products from Matron Purity. Got lots of awesome things, at the pearl powder. So much great feedback from everyone's been using that internally and especially externally for blemishes, getting rid of redness, clearing up psoriasis, fungal problems. It's a game changer. and the vitamin D3K2 there, liposomal. So, you're absorbing it extremely quickly into the bloodstream, and you are going to, as I said before, there's no such thing as a flu season. You've only got a vitamin D deficiency season. So I recommend you take that along with the liposomal vitamin C we've got there. And we've also got the enzymes. So something that we want to get into, and I'm going to be trying to get guys from Biooptimize on the show, because I really want to go deep into enzymes. And if you aren't taking enzymes or eating any foods that are rich in enzymes like fruits and raw foods, then this is a very, very important part of the puzzle for healing, for digesting your food, for maintaining a good lean physique, for recovery as well. So lots on there. As always, we've got our 1, 2, 3, and 4 plus bedroom water filtration systems for the house. So what I meant was our water filtration systems that are plugged into the mains of your house, and we've got them for if you've got a 1 bed, a 2 bed, a 3 or 4 plus bedroom house, hard or soft water. If you want that, give me a shout, or you can just order them on site and that'll be sent out to you. Also our blue blocking link with the guys from Blue Blocks, BLUBLOX.com. Andy Mampf over there. Put in the code Revive, and you're going to be getting 10% off of your blue blocking glasses. And you can take your own frames there. They've got frames for the evening, also frames for the daytime if you're working on computers that block the artificial blue light. Anyone who's done any research into that artificial blue light at night, overexposure to it, how damaging it is for the mitochondria, the cells of the body, how it can play havoc with your circadian rhythm, your hormones, your endocrine system. It's not good. And we've also got the best oils or essential oils in the world, in my opinion, from Dr. Nick Berry. So if you head on over to www.essentialoilwizardry.com and you put in the code REVIVE, you're going to get 10% off of the best blends on the planet by that. And you can actually make your own unique smell and fragrance, or I say fragrance, your own unique blend. Talking to a lot of people, and they still don't realise how toxic fragrances are. That is a completely unregulated industry. They can put whatever they want in it, and how people are taking the hotels in Vegas and other hotels for millions of pounds because they go there, they can't sleep, they're irritable, they can't think straight, their skin erupts, they feel sick, they're vomiting. It's because these are completely unregulated industries, and these fragrances are very, very powerful and very, very toxic. Like anyone who has an air freshener in their house or one of those Febreze things, I wouldn't if I was you. And you can get essential oils and use a diffuser instead. Instead of having toxic smells and fragrances, you can have healing smells that are doing your body a world of good. And Dr. Nick Berry's formulas are second to none. So definitely try him out. Anyway, on to today's show. We have got a returning guest, Mike Salemi. He's a great guy, Mike. I absolutely love him. He's always smiling. He's one of a kind, and he's just been really teaching. And since we had him last on the show, he's been teaching a lot of his kettlebell stuff, Bulgarian bag stuff. He does a lot of movement, and he's just recently been into Canada, into the wild, to learn all about Kambo, which is a medicine excretion from the frog. So we're going to get into that. So without further ado, here's Mike. Enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, doing really good. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah, perfect. You can hear me all good?
Yeah, I got you. You at home? You at home right now?
Yeah, I'm just at home, mate. Yeah, well, I've just been working from here as well. So I was just like, when you said 3 minutes, I was like, cool. I just made a cup of Powderco tea and just went over and quickly made some. Yeah, mate. Awesome. I've just been like looking. You seem like you've been all over the place.
Yeah, man. on every level, bro.
Oh yeah, on every level.
Yeah.
You can talk.
Yeah.
You can let me delve into that. I'm just thinking, I've seen you've been. I just looked at your Instagram before. Obviously, you've been down into Costa Rica, which we want to talk about. But you've also been. Seemed like you've been. Is it Carl's Kingsbury? Is he in Texas or is he in California?
He's in Texas. Yeah.
But isn't On it in California?
No. They're in Austin, Texas.
Oh, are they? Okay. No, because I thought I saw. I mean, Austin, Texas is meant to be quite similar to California, right?
Yeah, actually, there's a ton. Not only is it similar, I think they're calling it like the next Silicon Valley or something like that. And a lot of Californians are moving over there, so it's got a very similar vibe to the Bay Area. Right.
Because I thought they were in. I thought they were in California just because I think Rogan was in California, and also is it Marcus Aubrey or Aubrey Marcus? Isn't he in California or is he in Texas
No,
as well?
he's in Texas, but Rogan's in LA, which is in California.
Right. I don't know why. I think I just saw a lot of their stuff. It just seemed maybe a few of their posts come up, and it just seemed that they were in California. Maybe because they were just I don't know there for a little while or something. I assumed that they'd been it, but okay. How come is that where they're both from, or is that they decided to set up on it out there?
I think that's where Aubrey's from, and then I don't know where Joe's from, but I know he's been based at LA for a while. But they're somehow connected business wise. Like I don't know if Joe is an investor on it or whatever, but I know he pushes their stuff a lot.
Yeah, I think
so.
he is.
But I know like that like there's oh man I don't recall, but there might be there's some like there's no I think like state income tax or something in Texas. I know tax wise it's a much more favorable place to be than California if you got a business for sure.
Right. Okay. There's no, but it's right. This is me being. I haven't got a map in front of me. Is Texas landlocked though, or does it have a coast?
Well, there's the Gulf side, so it is mainly landlocked, and then you have the Gulf, which is like the portion. So part of it does hit water as well.
It does have some. Okay, is it
Yeah,
quite
but
a nice
it's not.
coast?
I haven't been there, but I don't think it's super nice. It's not like it's not like the like where Florida like the other part of Florida is. But I've never been to that side actually. So
Okay, cool. So Austin's more. Actually, I've got a friend who's working in Austin at the moment, and he says he loves it. Do you have a good time?
it's super cool, man. Food's great. Everyone's into fitness. It's literally like I feel in a different like obviously a different sense, but it feels like I'm at home. That like the Bay Area where I live, San Diego and Austin would be like my three places where I would in the States would probably like to. I mean, I love New York and stuff like that. I love South Florida, but like my kind of vibe and stuff like that, I like these places a lot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, New York's wicked because it's just New York, but it's like I know what you mean. It's just it's just like frogging a blender stuff. It just everything just goes off all the time. London is like that in certain parts, as you've saw. But like, I get that because, but I liked when I was over. I think I mentioned to you before. I really enjoyed. Well, San Diego was wicked. I really loved San Francisco when I went there. I think we went to the Bay Area. I think that was really cool. Obviously, Santa Monica, Santa Barbara, all down there. But even Venice Beach, I thought had a cool vibe. I really liked it around there. Yeah, LA's okay. Like it's good for like what it is, but it's not somewhere that I'd much prefer it on the coast. Like, yeah. So I mean, Venice Beach had a good. Venice Beach was quite cool. It was a bit like. Have you been to Camden in London?
No, I haven't been there.
No, because I know you were like over in for listeners. Mike was over here recently doing like workshops, etc. We met up and had some really good food, didn't we?
Dude, it was amazing. That oh my god, I think it was those thinly sliced potato cakes, man, that your friend made. Oh, I'm still thinking about them.
Yeah. Anyone out there who is actually in the London area and the Spitalfields area, my friend Mark Summers has got a fantastic vegetarian restaurant actually called Bubala. I think it means sort of like lovely in Jewish. He's Jewish, but the cuisine is just fantastic, and we had some really good food there. And you were just on the way back from Twickenham, weren't you? I think you just taught your kettlebell course.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly where that was, but it was at a place called Salus, London. So I had just come back from like a day or so. I was out there teaching that stuff with a mix of like kettlebells, Bulgarian bags, like everything that I do, which was so rad, which I don't even think I've never taught to that capacity, an introduction at least to everything. So locomotion mechanics, working in, it was super fun. So it let me know that the feedback was great, that I want to do more of that stuff. Yeah,
no, also Salus is actually my friend Lawrence. I think his gym there got to move because of something, but yeah, he's wicked, and they really did enjoy it. I mean, because I think since the last time we spoke. I mean, because I'm thinking we should have had the podcast there, but obviously we didn't. We just had to catch up to some food. The last time we spoke on the podcast, you hadn't released your kettlebell course yet, but you've now released your kettlebell mastery course, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. So that's been a while. It's been a minute. Yeah. So the kettlebell course is out, mastering the kettlebell. Yeah, and I'm just like so excited to see that product out. Like it was a long time in hibernation and just working on it behind the scenes, like 13 months putting in work on that, and now it's like my baby, you know. So I'm so excited when I see people like posting on Instagram or like shooting messages like the program design lecture was fire. This was fire. Like, this was dope. It makes me, gives me a lot of fulfillment to see people really utilizing it, for sure.
Awesome. Where's this for people out there, because they don't want to look at it? I mean, I might be able to get some links onto it on my site as well, mate, just so we can put it out to people. 100% we can do that. But what is it? Is it at MikeSalemi.com?
Yeah, that would be awesome. So what they would want to go to is programs.mikesalemi.io, not .com. And then that'll have the information page on everything to do with the program. And then if they have any questions, of course, just drop me a line on Instagram or whatever. I'd be happy to talk questions or anything like that.
Just say it again,
programs.mikesalemi.io.
Perfect. .io. Perfect. Cool. And I'll have a chat offline and try and get it on so people can have an option to get it on mine, because I know it's a fantastic course. And I've mentioned before, one of my good friends, Gary Rothwell, was actually a guest on my last show. He was a former world champion, record holder in the kettlebell. I think he's a master. It was in the masters section, and he's looking to get it as well, I think, because he's really into it. So yeah, anyone who's not looked at kettlebell training before, and I mean, it's a really cool way of training. It's really functional. It's something different as well for a lot of people. It can put different stresses on the body, and yeah, it's another way of also not just training the body but train your mind, because a lot of the patterns that you do, they require quite a lot of thought, right? I mean, it's quite different.
Yeah, kettlebells is a tool, like as a piece of functional training equipment. I mean, it integrates the nervous system at a very, very high and deep level, which is why you're going to get, if you want to think about like more bang for your buck, there's so much richness. Like, your motor or movement vocabulary will increase incrementally by utilizing a kettlebell. There's nothing against a barbell. Barbell's great for building 1 rep strength. But when you look at the complexity of the movements overall that you would do, even with a dumbbell, dumbbells are great. Free weight, you can do multi-pattern, multi-planar movements. But the kettlebell, the instability, the grip, how the weight is offset from the handle, all of those things make it a much more dynamic and much more integrated tool. And and even with the program, like I'm even changing my marketing of it, because it's not a course. I mean, it is a course and a program, but it's really for the people who want to go deep. And I mean that in all honesty, and it's no pitch. It's just, there's almost like 500 instructional videos in it. So it's pretty much like the most all expansive resource online, not just on kettlebells, but there's assessments, corrective exercise before you enter every movement. There's lectures by Paul Check in there. There's just like lectures on program design, like 6-part lectures on that, 6-part lectures on posture in the spine. So it's literally like 2 full-blown kettlebell/personal training certifications in one. So I'm even changing how I'm talking about it, because people think it's a course, and then they're like, whoa, this is way more than just like I've been studying more online courses, and like a lot of them are very short. This one's like total content, like 23 hours of just no fluff, knowledge, practical application. So for the people who really want to go deep and master that tool, and then everything else that you can do to set yourself apart, like it's a dope program. It's awesome.
Yeah, also, yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the reviews, and I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Michael. I wouldn't expect anything less, especially from you and Paul together. I can imagine it being a massive rabbit hole, a kettlebell rabbit hole. It takes 23 hours to come out the other side of, but yeah, that's exactly what people want. I mean, it is you know what I love now, though, as much as like some things are getting more mainstream, and the world is going a bit diet and vegan balmy at the moment. What I do like about it is, wherever I go in the world, different cities, most gyms now are all decked out with a very good strength and conditioning department. Like, whereas before you used to go to gyms and it used to just be like machines, etc. Now there's always dumbbells. There's always like a lifting platform or like a barbell, kettlebells, watt bikes, prowlers, cages, like racks, pull-up bars, even ropes. It's just like there's a lot more, and for people as well. Like, I mean, people in strength and conditioning circles have probably known what kettlebells are and athletes, but now even the general public are being more exposed more and more to these things, which is great. Because let's be honest, unless you're an athlete and you're training for like an event or a game every Saturday, and your job is to be that and do that, then training and mixing up your training is good sometimes, because people get bored and get stale. So if they learn about a kettlebell, great, and then they can utilize that. Then if after a while they get a little bit, okay, sort of done that for a little bit, and they go to Bulgarian bag, and then they can go, I've done that a little bit. And sometimes it's good to have them, or you can just add kettlebell to the end of your training, or Bulgarian bag in your training, or whatever it is. It's just good to keep people, stimulated mentally as well as physically.
Oh, 100%. Change the stimulus. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if you like machines, then go for it. Do whatever you love. The best exercise you'll do, as Paul would always say, is the one that you're willing to do regularly. And that still stands true. But at least in my experience, I mean, these tools are so goddamn fun. Like, you'll tend to lose track of time even, and you won't even realize it, especially if you got a good coach, a good trainer, a good program you're following that you're excited to do. It's like, it's not the primary goal won't be working out. The primary goal will be play and fun. And then just as a byproduct, you'll have a great workout and have a sweat going and whatever. And that's really what keeps people excited and keeps people on their training programs. So switching that mindset, like, imagine if you went to the gym for play, like, hey, I'm going for playtime. One of my friends in Texas, no, I'm sorry, he's not in Texas. I think he's in Tennessee, somewhere in the Midwest. He's got a gym called Recess. And the whole gym is designed around games. And I mean, he's got Bulgarian bags, he's got all the tools, kettlebells, everything. But the whole, I thought it was a phenomenal idea. The whole programming is around play and getting adults to, like, an adult playtime and playground. And it's like, what a fantastic, like, business model, and what a fantastic service to give the community. So I think you're exactly right on that, 100%.
Yeah, that is a great idea, because when you're young, what you want to do is go and play, right? And then when it comes to when people get older, get work and stuff, they see, like, some people see the gym as like a chore. I mean, you're probably like me. I look forward to it. It's just part of my day, and it's just fun. But like, some people can see it as a chore, and if you and sometimes programming can make it a chore as well. Oh, I've got to do. I mean, having been in an athlete environment, I know what it's like. Like, it was like Monday. So we're doing Jim Wendler's 5-3-1 program, just for example. The people out there don't know what it is, So you'd be doing that, like, for 4 weeks, and you go into, like, I don't know, 6-6 training, 6-6-6 training for another four weeks, and then whatever it is, you just go through different blocks, and you'd be like, okay, but you're doing it because it's a means to an end, right? But whereas if you're not, I think Idol. Paul Tell said this. It was really great. He said everyone wants to be a specialist, but I want to be the greatest generalist, someone who can be thrown into any situation. And all these people that look fantastic, but you chuck them in a swimming pool and they sink. Or you got these swimmers that can't really climb can't climb a rope or whatever. I want to be someone that can do it all, which is, I think, is a great philosophy. You want to be someone who's comfortable in most environments, which is great. And this is what all these, they say, as people say, there's no bad exercise. It's just a wrongly prescribed exercise, and it's just different tools in your toolbox that need to be used. So people that haven't looked at kettlebell training yet, I think it's you definitely get into it and definitely have a look at Mike's program, because it's going to open your eyes probably to like another world you didn't even know existed if you haven't looked at it. And even if you did know it's there, you're going to be doing. I mean, I'm someone who's used to kettlebell quite a bit, but some of the moves that I see you doing, they're pretty specialist. They're pretty interesting. If you haven't looked at Mike's Instagram, go and have a look. He's doing all sorts of lunges and squats and routines with these things. They're it's like you've got your own Michael Jackson routine with them.
I'm still trying to answer the question myself. Like, when people ask me, like, what do I do? It's like, it's funny because, like, depending on what Instagram post someone might see, they would be like, oh, you're a kettlebell guy. I'm like, oh, not really. I love kettlebells. Been doing them for 16 years, 17 years, whatever. But I wouldn't say I'm a kettlebell guy. I love bands. I love bags. I mean, I would say, and it's still a work in progress, but for me, always health is the basis for performance. So no matter what it is that you're doing, health always comes first. That's the foundation of the house. Once you get there, depending on the goal or the specific objective you want to go to, there's 1,000,001 things that we can do. And it's like, I always say, like, we all have a specific personality that's, like, very honed into a specific way of training. Even our fiber types, like, there's sprinters and there's marathon runners, not only physically built like that, but also mentally built like that. I mean, for so long as a power lifter, anything above just 3 reps in anything in life, I was like pouring sweat and just like mentally. So you threw me in kettlebell sport, which was 10 minutes nonstop, can't set the weight down. The reason why I loved it and went into it was because it was so challenging and hard, and mentally like I was never geared up to be a strength endurance or an endurance athlete. So we each have, based off of what we like, the tools, if you like grip training, the Bulgarian bag is phenomenal. Your grip's going to go after like 10 reps, 20 reps, I guarantee. If you like a lot of the flows, for example, kettlebell training is amazing. So even depending on the type of person and what type of workouts you like, there's a specific tool out there for you. It's just kind of navigating. But playing in the beginning and testing and exploring is, for me, the best thing anyone could ever do. And you're exactly right. With all the gyms now, like I'm at gyms all the time. You're exactly right. I mean, they got prowlers, ropes, kettlebells, Bulgarian bags. The only thing that makes me really sad is not seeing people use them. That's the saddest thing of all. But it's there 100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing about CrossFit, has been like that people do get into using these things. But I remember I was in South Africa last year, and I was in Port Elizabeth, and I went to get a train session in. I went to like a Virgin Active, because I didn't really know about in the area. I went to Virgin Active, and they wanted to charge me silly money to use it once, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'll just go and do some beach runs or do whatever, go and do some chins. And then I come across this gym down the road from it, and it was like a third of the price. I walked in and I was like a kid in a sweet shop. I was like, oh my God. Walked in, it was just like power rack. It was just a massive, it was like it had all like what they call it, like a rack with all like all your chin up bars, etc. Then it had like Olympic lifting platforms, had air dynes, rowers, a big indoor prowler mat, outdoor prowler mat, had another section over there with Bulgarian bags and ball slams, had like boxing, and then around the side it had all like bodybuilding weights. And I was like, I'm in my gym wet dream here, I think. And I was literally like, I was at Port Elizabeth 4 days. I think I worked out it 5 times. I was just like, it was just wicked. My mate was actually doing a marathon at the time. He was training for the London Marathon, and he was just doing running. And I was like, right, we got to go and do some time. I mean, we put some time in on the track. I was like, right, you got to come in the gym with me. You got to make you stronger. And he was like, right, mate, are you okay? You've lost your head here. I was like, mate, it's so good in here. it was wicked. Like, you're just like, it was just anything. It was a massive space, and I was just thinking, but it was actually, what the good thing about it actually was pretty busy. Everyone was using stuff. People were doing bear crawls and like, using like, everyone was doing different things, but it was a really cool place, and it was being utilised. And I was just like, and to find that in South Africa, in Port Elizabeth. I mean, South Africa's quite a big rugby nation. They're quite into like certain weights, but to find it like just in a random place, I was like, this is wicked. It just shows how much the world has developed in that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and so I'm sure did you train at the Onnit place? Did you go to the Onnit gym?
Yeah, I was there quite a bit.
I bet that's quite an epic gym.
Oh, it's such a cool place. It's like everything. I mean, you can order bone broth there in the morning, and like, you can get whatever you want, keto shakes and all that sort of stuff. They got a great cafe, cool apparel line, equipment, and then the gym is rad. And the people there are so nice. Like, I haven't run into one person and I've been there, man, the last almost 3-4 years, probably like 6 times. Every single time I'm there, people are so kind and so nice. So it's a really cool place.
So what'd you do when you're there, Mike?
So on this trip, what was I doing? So I was first in San Antonio teaching, and then I went to Austin, and so I was coaching some guys. So like, I did a session with Primal Swolger. Do you know he's big in kettlebells?
No, I haven't.
He's really big with kettlebell flows, big, massive Instagram following. So I trained him and his girlfriend on some band training, as well as the Bulgarian bag, which was super rad. Was staying with my buddy Kyle Kingsbury, who's the head of human optimization out there. So we're just kicking it with his family. I got a little surprise. I'm coming out with a podcast. So sometime in the new year. So I interviewed Kyle for that, which was rad.
Awesome.
Did some Kambo I did some Kambo ceremonies as well. So now I'm taking Kambo with me on the road, and did that. So it was a rad trip, and then of course just training it on it too, and teaching with some people there.
I mean, it's hard to like know what, I mean, it's human optimization on it, what it actually is. like, do you know, like, what if you put a finger on it, it's human optimization, but it's like they've got their own gym and they do podcasts and stuff, but like they sell products, they sell coaching. It's what do they do? It's really hard. If you had to say what is on it, what would you say?
So I would say for sure like the human optimization aspect, but where they derive the most of their, let's say, income or the big thing on it is supplements. So like supplements like Alpha Brain, their melatonin stuff, like they're kind of their branded or proprietary supplements that they've developed. Like Kyle is one of the foremost guys to develop new products and new supplements for them. And so Lion's Mane in their product. So they've got some really cool stuff. So that's like their number one, I would say, their biggest thing. But they have multiple income streams. So you have the supplement side of on it. You have the gym side of on it. You have the education side of on it. So they do certifications in kettlebell training, mace bell training, I think like body weight / durability training, I believe. You have like the cafe inside. You have the apparel and the equipment side. So they've got, and then I'm sure they have tons of partnerships with different organizations as well. So they've got a solid like 4 to 6 maybe parts of their business, at least that I'm aware of. But it's, they have the podcast too, but their supplements are what really, from my understanding, drives the company.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I know they've got I've heard Alpha Brain certain supplements, but excuse me, I didn't think I didn't know that it was I didn't know the certifications. That's interesting. The mace. Do you use the mace?
I do use the mace a little bit. I haven't dabbled too much, but one of the guys that I was teaching out there with was Leo Savage. You familiar with him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, great, funny guy. Really, really talented coach and very talented with the mace. So he teaches his flow certifications as well as he teaches the On It mace certifications, which are slightly different. And so, I've got a mace and he's encouraging me. And so I do a little bit of mace. It's something that I want to get more into. But right now it's been more of the other tools lately. But I'll mix it up at least once, twice a week just to play.
Yeah, it is an interesting tool. It's quite it's something that you can easily get injured with, I think. Or not like knowing about it, a slight decapitation can go on. It's quite if anyone's seen what I mean, if you imagine like a mace for medieval tool, it's quite but it does look good. It's once again, it's like having the weight at different, as you said, like the kettlebell, having the weight distributed in different areas. So you actually got to think about things, move. That's not just like right on the end of your hand. Mace is on the end of your hand, but the heaviest part of it will obviously be furthest away. So it's strength in different curves, right? So it's different curves. So it's interesting to see how it moves. Now, awesome. So you did some Kambo,
yep.
Kambo down there. So people, we had a little chat about it when we were last having some food, but you've been down in Costa Rica, right?
This one was, so in Costa Rica, that was for ayahuasca. This one is actually it's interesting. So I flew into Bellingham, Washington, which is like close to the Canada border. And then when I arrived there, I took like a 45-minute to an hour like Uber taxi ride or whatever to like literally across the street was Canada. And it was in like the woods and the forest. There's a place called Maple Falls. There was pretty much no cell phone service, no Wi-Fi service, and I was there for 15 days, and that's where the training took place for Kambo.
Right. Also, was that with the guys from Psychedelic Times?
No. So, did we talk about Psychedelic Times?
Yeah, I've been reading. We had a little chat about you. I think you. I don't know if we talked about it. Actually, might have seen you post it, but I know you mentioned. I think you mentioned the place, but I remember you. Whatever it is, I've read about it and I looked at it at Psychedelic Times, and it's a cool little website, and I've seen that they do training. I think they are based in LA though, right?
So they are, I believe they're in LA right now. So actually Joe, who's the head of Psychedelic Time, and his partner Lana were actually the first people that served me Kambo. And they were living in the Bay Area only until honestly I think the last 6 months when they moved down south, and I think they're moving around a little bit, but so he was the first person years ago to serve me Kambo, and then he told me about his website and such, and then so he went through the education that I went through, and he was the one both of them were the ones who told me about this organization that I went through called the IAKP, and then a few other friends, because I probably worked with I think 6 different Kambo practitioners over the years. just to see different styles. And I really, just like in it's no different than strength and conditioning and working with a number of different coaches and modalities. It's like each different coach or each different practitioner is going to bring their experience, their knowledge, how they were trained, what they see with their clients. And so it really gives the whole experience so much more context. And so I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of different ones. And I just love how Joe and Lana, for example, serve the medicine, serve Kambo. So that was one big reason why that led me down that path to work with this place.
Cool. And so, just for people out there, Psychedelic Times is a wicked website and looking into it. But for people out there, what is Kambo?
So Kambo is, what you want to think about is like, it's interesting because a lot of people ask me, like, is Kambo psychedelic? Is it one of those type of medicines? So it's a medicine from a frog. So it's not from a plant. It's actually from a frog. It's not psychoactive by nature. And so it's been used primarily for generations and generations and thousands of years by countless tribes in South America. And there's tons of tribes if anyone wants to research and look at them. The Matsis are one, the Yawanawa, the Katokinya, the Kaksinawa. Those are just tribes that come up to mind. But there's tons of tribes that have been using this form of medicine. And what it is essentially is it's the particular secretion from this frog. Now, the secretion from the frog serves two primary purposes. One is its defense mechanism. But also the other thing that it does is, and there's some pretty cool videos on this. I've seen it on Instagram. I think I've even seen it online. But when the frog secretes this liquid, it moves it all over its body, its arms and its legs, and it actually acts also as sunscreen for the frogs because the frogs tend to live high up. These are kind of higher living tree frogs, and so what happens is you take this secretion. Now, the tribes would use it primarily for three reasons, as I mentioned. The first is as a hunter's medicine or like a warrior's medicine. So before like battle or before, let's say, they would be going on a hunt where they were going to be exposed to harsh conditions, maybe not eating for a few days, sleep, just everything that would come with being out in nature and exposed to the elements, especially in South America and the Amazon. They would take this medicine, and what they found is it has the potential to increase, they would say, the vitality of the person, the strength, the stamina, the groundedness of someone. It also said because it works a lot with excreting toxins from the body, they said it was even able to remove the human odor, so they would be less detectable to animals. And so it was primarily used as a hunting medicine. Then also it was used as to kind of they call it panema, but essentially it's like to bust through and break through like heavy, dark energy.
Yeah, negative energies, right? Yeah.
Exactly, negative energy. And then the third thing they would use it for as to kind of help heal snake bites and malaria. So they would use it as like their form of, let's say, like a jungle vaccine or something like that. And so what happens is traditionally the way this medicine is cultivated and administered is the tribes would actually sing like a mating call to the frog. The frogs, on their own volition, come out of the tree, and they do this time and time again. And what's interesting is because the frogs are cold-blooded, we're warm-blooded. So the idea is not to touch the frogs very much because you don't want to stress them out. And so they take these little sticks and they poke them in the ground, and then they outstretch the frog's hands. And it might look a little painful if you saw a picture of it, but they actually do it so they don't touch the frog very much. And so they outstretch the arms, and then they kind of like agitate, or think of it like tickle one of the toes or the feet. And then when they do that, the frog excretes their secretion. And what then they do is traditionally they have like this small bamboo stick, and then they take the secretion typically from the glands, which is where the most powerful secretion is going to be. And then when that secretion is on the stick, traditionally, like if you saw me now, brother, you would see like, I feel like I look like a leopard. Like, I'll show you, like, it's hard to see, but I've got dots, like little burn marks kind of everywhere on my body, my legs, my back, my chest.
Show me that again.
This is just an easy one.
Oh, yeah. I think you did show me before. I think in your video, or in your picture or video on Instagram, I think you showed like the Call of the Warrior ones across your chest.
Oh, yeah. The warrior stripe. Yeah, that was, so we did a lot of medicine, and what they do to administer it is they take like a little incense. Now, this is the traditional application, but they like take like a little incense and then they just burn just the superficial layer of your skin, just the very tippy top layer of the skin. And then what you'll see is this like shiny liquid exposed, and that's the lymphatic fluid. So then they take the medicine and they add a little water, and then they scrape it off the stick, and then they apply these dots of medicine to the skin, and it goes right into the lymphatic system and then circulates through the body in that way.
It sounds very, very powerful. I want to go into what it does and how it does it, but just looking at this here, it says can help with depression, migraines, blood circulation problems, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, vascular insufficiency, organ diseases, cancer, fertility problems, deeply rooted toxins, chronic pain, addiction to opiate or prescription painkillers. It can also help reduce physical pain, helping people kick their addictions to painkillers as well. Fever and infections, and as you said before, negative energy is traditionally known as panema. So lots going on there. But my question would be, how did they even think about doing this? Was it shaman talking to the plants, talking to the animals? Has that how it come about?
So the crazy thing is like from my understanding, there's quite a few like origin stories of the medicine, but the most, I would say, commonly accepted origin story has to do with a shaman named Kapam, hence the name Kambo. And so it was an ayahuasca shaman who, his tribe, I guess there was some type of like rampant disease or some type of sickness that was either completely illing the entire tribe and or people were dying off. And they couldn't do anything to fix it. And so on an ayahuasca vision, Kapam got the message and the information to go out into the jungle, where to find this frog, how to get the frog, how to administer the medicine, and what it would take to help bring healing to the tribe. And once he did that and served the people in the tribe, the disease went away and was cured or gone. And so that is, from my understanding, how the name Kambo came and the most common origin story of it, which is also why, interestingly enough, Kambo works so well. You know, Kambo can be its own medicine for sure. And I don't mean medicine in the Western sense. I'm sure people who are listening can figure out it's obviously a different type of quote medicine. But it works very well with the plant medicines, especially ayahuasca. And oftentimes it'll be used in, let's say, the day before or within, like, let's say, an ayahuasca weekend or a retreat or whatever it is, because the combo is very, very physically cleansing. There's a lot of purging that goes on or can go on, whether it's vomiting or a lower purge, like a bowel purge, sweating, shaking. It's a rough medicine. It's one of the most intense that I've ever done and one of the toughest. But when you clear a lot of that stuff, and at least in my experience, and then you go into an ayahuasca ceremony, it's almost like you've worked through a lot of the shit. Like you've worked through a lot of the things already and cleared a lot of that.
You've purged it, yeah.
You purge it. So, and you may still purge on ayahuasca, I don't know, but it's like you've cleared a lot of things, and if you've got some intention around it as well, you can at least in my experience going into the ayahuasca, you go in like, I don't want to say like a step ahead, but you kind of go in with like some momentum and some waste cleared out of you already.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, wouldn't it? Like it means that you go into it and you may not have to go through the initial stages of what, as you said, it might be a step ahead. I mean, we could by putting it, or at least with a clean. I mean, I've heard Paul talk about this, and I think you as well, and a few other people saying that if you go into like an ayahuasca or plant medicine ceremony without like maybe doing a few days fasted or without having. If you're just eating meat, for example, you can get like visions of that animal's soul or that animal's thoughts or feelings, or because you actually got their energy inside of you. So by clearing your body of like certain foods and certain toxins first, you're going to get maybe more healing within you, or at least just you get to the root of your issues quicker. So like purging. It needs to be done, but so I mean, I did read quite a bit about it, and some people said like one day they did, I think it's like 5 administered 3 medicines within a certain amount of time, did 3 combo ceremonies within a certain amount of time. Maybe it was 3 or 5, and he said it was like one of the hardest things he's ever done. It's very, very deep. I think but it used to be used as a rite of passage as well, right?
So it's really, I mean, every tribe and every culture might have their own practices, but usually if Kambo is a part of it, they very well can have some rite of passage. And there seems to be, interestingly enough, some significance or some weight placed around doing 3 ceremonies within some close proximity. Now, that could be 3 times in 1 month, 1 every week. That could be one that's very common in terms of serving is 1 every day for 3 days. In the training, what we did as our rite of passage was 3 ceremonies within 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
I think
that was rough.
That's what I think it was. I think it was 6, 8, and 10 points within 3 hours. Is that what you did?
So the dosage is going to be very much dependent on you. And so what we would do is, now when you do combo in close proximity to another, typically you'll increase the dose slightly. You won't go down. And so kind of like you said, 6, 8, and then or let's say 10. So where I started on my 3x3 was I started with 9 on my chest, so right in front of the heart center. So 9, 11, I started 11, 13, 16. My first ceremony before that, I did 9, and then we upped it. So, yeah, on my final hour, I did 16 points right on the heart, and it was intense, bro. It was intense for sure.
I mean, yeah, I can imagine. Why? So, doing it in different parts of the body or over different organs, is that where you're trying to purge from?
So, traditionally, the men will get it traditionally on the left shoulder. The ladies will get it on the inside of the right leg. They tend to say that the clip closer to the heart, I don't want to say it's more powerful or more intense, but typically the closer to the heart, from my experience, the faster it comes on. The further from the heart, the slower. But the cool thing is you can do, now that's traditionally, and I've got them obviously all over my body, because one of the really cool things about this training, which attracted me to it, is they started discussing just the very, very basics of, for example, like the chakra system and acupuncture points and ear therapy as well. And so, like, even just knowing what I've studied from Paul about the chakra system and stuff, you can place the combo medicine. Like, if you really want to bring cleansing energy and healing, et cetera, to like the 3rd chakra, you can place points on the front and on the back of that point, and you can really start increasing the energetic focus of that area. So it can be very powerful. You can get very targeted in your treatments with the application of it, for sure. Like, even like the ears are very interesting. Like, the ears are almost like a 2-to-1 ratio in terms of like the strength of it. And so usually for the ears, you're going to go much less, but there's acupuncture points everywhere in the ear. You can treat the entire human body almost just by using ear points, not only for physical ailments, knee pain, hip pain, back pain, whatever, but organ and gland function, emotional issues. And it's also a different experience. Like, I had some ear points there, and what I experienced was, for me at least, and I was talking to some other classmates, it's almost a little less physical, or it's more like emotional. And it does feel different. It's almost like you're wearing kind of like a space helmet, like whoa, like you'll feel it radiate out more. So very interesting. So depending on where the points are on the body, you can elicit a specific targeted more reaction.
Okay, and so when you're doing different parts, is that just because you're running out of space, or is that because you're actually trying to hit different areas?
You just intention, yeah. Usually, you can even use the same location, but you want to allow the skin to heal. So usually it's like 2 to 3 months. Like, so I'll still use the same, because, well, I have dots everywhere right now because we were, experimenting with stuff and using different targeted treatments. But I'm probably going to stick with continually doing my chest or doing my shoulder, and that way, like, I just don't look like so much like a leopard with dots everywhere.
Do they heal? Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, they heal, but everyone's skin's going to heal different. Like, even different parts of your body, like, you can feel people's skin. Sometimes they're really thin and delicate. Some, even like if you have darker skin, like brown skin, like you very well may see the dots much more. If you have lighter skin, you might not see it as much. Or it could be vice versa. So everyone's skin's going to heal differently. Like, I've got certain areas of my body that you cannot see anymore from 4 years ago, or even 2 years ago, or 1 year ago. And then I've got dots, man, from 4 years ago, like on my belly that I'm looking down at right now. Like, they are still quite pronounced. So I think it just depends on your skin, your body, how you heal as well. Yeah.
How about across your chest? They still there?
My chest ones, yeah, they're still there. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it almost like you say, it's warrior stripe. It is a bit like a warrior. It's a bit like what you'd see, it's like a Maori sort of. I suppose what they would do, like with their tattoos, it's like across that. I suppose they say that across the heart or across the chest, it's quite a strong position to have it done. And you said is that the most? You said it was near the heart, so that's the most powerful place you can have it.
I think it's one of the most powerful places. Like the ears can be pretty powerful as well. And also too, depending on like, I think, on the spine is also really powerful. Like I've had, like the chakras on the spine, like man. So I just would say in general, the closer to the heart, but then there's those specific areas like ears and spine and stuff like that can be, yeah, for sure potent.
and how did you feel afterwards? Like, what was? Did you have like more mental clarity? Was you more alert? Did you have? Was your hearing better? Your eyesight better? Or did you feel like something had lifted off of you?
Yeah, so really interesting. I mean, the first thing that really sold me on it, and what really just got me wanting, like I knew almost from the first ceremony that I was in that I wanted to share this with people. And like every ceremony is going to be different, so you can't I can't really say speak in absolutes. But for me, and what I tend to see a lot is, the first ceremony, the next day, like literally, and I share this with people, like I felt like I could run through a brick wall, like just felt so vital. I mean, I always feel really good. This was like another level, just feeling just energetically, and it stayed for quite a while. I mean, for sure, the first few days it felt most heightened. And I've asked people too, like, does it drop off? Or people have asked me that too. What I tend to see is and have felt is your vitality goes up to a new level, and it doesn't necessarily drop, but you get kind of accustomed to that new level, and that becomes the new baseline. So maybe you feel this big surge in the first, on day 2, day 3, day 4, maybe. But then you might say, "Oh, I'm feeling back to normal." It's like that's not very true. It's just you've raised your baseline level of vitality. So that was the biggest thing. And then the more that I've worked with it, and the more that I've developed a relationship, and will continue to develop a relationship, especially in this training because we had to do so much medicine and serve medicine. Man, I understood so much more at a deeper level that it is way more than just a physical cleanse. I think that's like what most people associate with Kambo is like just a physical purge or a physical cleanse. But it runs way deeper than that. On the emotional level, it can work on the spiritual level. And I had some very powerful just breakthroughs in the training and emotional releases, a lot of crying. And again, it's going to be different for everyone. It depends, where you're at, what your intention is, potentially what your relationship is with the medicine. In the beginning, it was more physical that I was aware of, but now I'm like, wow, I was so shocked and amazed and pleasantly surprised that it runs much, much deeper than that.
So, if you don't mind sharing, Mike, what was some of the mental and emotional things you broke through? Like, was it things from the past, things that are coming up now, things you've held on to for quite a long time?
Yeah, for me, I'm thinking of one ceremony in particular. That one ceremony, and we had like an hour long or 40-minute long consultation before going into that, which is my last ceremony, which was it was like a special treatment. So it utilized meridians, chakras, and ear points. So, and I had 18 points on that treatment. So it was the final 2 days before I left. And so obviously I've been there for 2 weeks without a break. We had one day of like a 3-hour break. All the rest was, learning all day, 10, 12-hour days, serving, taking medicine, and without technology either. So there wasn't those interruptions. So I was in that space, and then we did a consultation with a group as well as an instructor to kind of get clarity in terms of what do you really want to work on. And in that came up some stuff from childhood that I really wasn't aware of that was a driving factor in terms of just a lot of, let's say, my self-limiting beliefs and a lot of the programs and patterns that I live out on a day-to-day basis that I never really knew where that kind of came from or where maybe that started. And so this one instinct came up from when I was really young. And so I used that as the intention for the ceremony. And I went in already pretty much crying. So I went in already very opened up. And so it was almost like everything was already on the table. Like the intention was set. I already was working on it. And then Kambo just helped bring that out and really help process that. So the beginning of it was physical and some physical purging. But then the rest of it, like the second half, was just crying and releasing that. And actually, I screamed a good amount, like yelled a lot, and it had a very powerful release via that, which was so empowering for me. And it was like reclaiming my voice, reclaiming my power. And, I've told people since then, and I can do the best I can to share right now. But it's also, I still feel very different. That's why, I haven't really been on social lately. Like the training was well over a month ago. And from there, I went to Kauai for a vacation. So I disconnected there. And then I just had a work trip. But I just feel very different. And I mean that in the best of ways. And I still, like when I'm interacting with certain people, family, friends, certain triggers that might come up that normally I would like already have a default reaction, or how I might experience certain things, or restaurants, whatever it is. Like I've just felt just this shift, and I'm still figuring out, it's still very hard for me to put into words, but I just feel very different in the best of ways.
That's awesome. It sounds, that sounds similar to how people feel after ayahuasca. So that's probably why they're used in conjunction. And so if you're purging like that, and probably get some sort of crossover, that you get the purge and the psychedelic, whereas this you're getting the purge. But if you get into that point where you're releasing so much physical, people like say it's physical, but it's also negative energies, etc., and you're boosting the immune system. Everything's energy, right? So if you're getting that crossover, if you're getting that to that point where things are coming out, I always say to people anyway, even when we do like 21 day reset, or we get people through like different colon or liver cleanses, and they say, "Oh right, I'm feeling really down today, or really emotional, or this has happened, that's happened." I'm like, it's completely natural, like mental, emotional, negative energies will come out as much as the physical ones. So if you go through a healing crisis, you can get like a skin rash, or you can get mental. People can get a little bit worse before they get better. It's something that they don't realize if they don't have a coach, and they can stop doing it, think it's not working, when in fact it is. Everything from skin rashes to vaginal itches to like not being able to sleep, maybe having too much energy, maybe not having enough, feeling very emotional, crying, as you say. All these, the list is endless for what it can be like. And so it's really important for people to understand that like things can come out mentally, emotionally, as well as physically. I always say to people, if you're around your partner or your kids, tell them you might be a little bit of a brat, or like a bit moody, because it's just well, it is. People don't, and because people are so disconnected from their bodies, they don't think, they think I'm just in a bad mood, but they don't realise that as they're actually going through a purging process and opening up the detoxification pathways. Was you a little bit irritable to be around, or was you pretty cool?
You know what? I mean, it definitely brought stuff up. I don't know if I was irritable, but it brought a lot of stuff up that I was working with. And then you got to think too, there was 18 other students, and there was like no service or anything. So we're all going through our stuff, and with the amount of ceremonies, so it's like stuff came up. So yes and no. It's like it was just an interesting space to be in for that long. Yeah, it was real. So some stuff came up though. Maybe at times I wasn't the most pleasant, but I think I held it together pretty good.
That's being around 18 other people like that. I mean, sometimes you probably just want to be like on your own, just deal with it, right? Did you have time to do that?
It was full on, man. Like I really connected with a few guys, and what was cool is where we were. There was just tons of rooms and beds in this kind of like home retreat center. And there was like 5 beds in the room that I was sharing with. And I got close to some of those guys. And right next to our room, there was a sauna. Now, we didn't use the sauna because it's contraindicated 3 days before and 3 days after Kambo. But we would use the sauna as like a little meditation room. And so, and there was just such great, like amazing people, a lot of people who serve ayahuasca, other plant medicines, people who focus on the healing arts. And so usually in the mornings or at nights or on breaks, like we would all meet in there, sage the little sauna, do some meditation, some chanting, and it was super cool. So I was around some very cool people, which I still keep in touch with right now.
No, I can imagine you. I imagine you will forever. So you're not meant to have a sauna 3 days before or after.
Yeah, that was just what was mainly contraindicated by this organization, and it's mainly because like hydration is such an important piece to Kambo. Like it's different than ayahuasca, even in the preparation. Like ayahuasca, you might fast and all that. Like Kambo, certainly I would recommend not eating like crap. Like you definitely want to take care of yourself before you go in, but you don't, fast the night before. You eat a normal meal. You don't change your liquids in the morning. You just don't eat because you don't want to eat the morning of you're getting served Kambo. That's going to be pretty painful and not a good thing. But aside from the morning fast, the hydration piece is because there potentially can be so much purging, vomiting, sweating. Like, I mean, everyone's going to respond differently, but I've seen some like more, and actually one of my friends there is a hot yoga instructor. And I mean, we saw people that literally, he was even saying sweat more than a 90-minute hot yoga class. Like we're talking full blown puddle. And so you got to imagine that can really change the hydration electrolyte balance. You just don't want to do, so it's just not smart to do saunas before, after, or crazy training. You want to be gentle on your body for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the body gets rid of viruses, right? Or, that's how it goes to such a temperature, because it can live at temperatures viruses and pathogens can't. So, it's why it would do that. And so it makes sense if you're putting something in that's stimulating that process. It makes sense for it to purge like that. And so different ways, as you said, diarrhea is the way the bowel gets rid of toxins. Obviously, vomiting, sweating, obviously through your breath. It's interesting, and I'm not surprised that people can get into that situation depending on how their body reacts. And so, did you notice any difference between men and women, the way they responded? Was there more like men responded this way, women responded that way, or was it mainly just like all over the place?
No, in my experience, I didn't notice that too much, and I think I mean, every person's going to be different, and even like now, what's really interesting is now there's more and more like research coming out on how it's being used for different therapies and stuff like that, or potentially to help. And that's where like Psychedelic Times, or even like the website, I think it's just iakp.org. Like you can find some research studies and what it's being used for. There's also a really cool book by a guy named Peter Gorman, who was one of the first guys in the States, at least that I'm aware of, to use Kambo, one of the first. And this was, I believe, I forget if it was in the 60s or the 80s, but his book is called Sapo, In My Soul or In Your Soul, and he spent a ton of time with certain tribes down in South America, like I believe the Matsis, and you can just see how it was being used and for all sorts of stuff. But it's a lot of the research is just being done now, and so it's tough. Like you can't like, and it's a natural medicine, so you certainly couldn't say like make any claims about it. I don't think yet. But I know that there's a lot of pharmaceutical companies that are trying to do. I think there's like 80 patents or something ridiculous like that. That they're trying to use it for. But like, at least in my experience, from just physical vitality and well-being, it's been pretty powerful for sure.
Cool. And so you said you're going to be administrating this. You're now certified to administrate this with your clients or people who want to do it. Obviously when you was in Canada, where do they? These frogs around Canada. I'm sure were they in Canada, or were they actually getting the secretion from people? Like, where would you get the secretions from?
So you're going to get it from South America, and right. So you'll want to have some. So I know that I'm almost positive you can even find it on like Amazon and all that stuff. But
I never
not going to want to do that.
Well, I'm about to say, like, with these things, even with supplements, I'm like, there's certain. I'm like, no, you go to certain brands and there's certain people you deal with, because you never know what's getting in there. People like to sell snake oil, whereas when it's the thing about supplements, like we talk about supplements, but our supplements are just basically like what the things that we use are just basically, they're all organic. A lot of them are wildcrafted, and a lot of them are fermented. They're highly bioavailable. They're just basically concentrated. They're just food in concentrated form. Whereas most supplements on the market are just garbage. And so, same as when you're getting this, I'm sure that you'll get different levels of purity, or if it's even real or not.
Exactly. And there is knockoff stuff, and I forget what a lot of them are using, what substance they're using, but it's not helpful to the human body. But yeah, there's not only the quality of it, legitimacy, and also how it's ethically or non-ethically sourced. So like that's why I would not recommend getting it online. And definitely do not, if you're listening to this, please do not serve yourself. Like work with someone who's legit, because like it's some of the most intense things I've ever gone through. And I would just highly recommend working with someone for sure on this. And so there's a specific tribe that because I'm connected with this organization that we get the medicine from, and they collect it very ethically. They don't over milk the frogs. They have a system to release them, and so they not only source it very ethically, but they don't over milk in the sense they only take like the first secretion from the frog. So they don't keep milking the frog, so it takes more and more, and they only take it from the glands as opposed from other parts of the body. So that's also why usually the first secretion, especially from the glands themselves, are going to be the strongest. And so that's where it is, and then we'll get it on these little bamboo sticks.
Okay, cool. So it's basically like you have to be like most people, you have to be like affiliated with someone to be able to get this stuff, which is good. I don't want people to go out there and just start thinking, oh, I can go and take Kambo, because it's what I'm glad you said that, because I always say you need to work with coaches on this thing. And once again, the reason you did it right is because you had an affinity for, you wanted to go out and work on yourself, and now you want to sort of share that with other people.
100%. It always just started from like just trying to. For me, it always started just how can I increase my performance, or even I'm traveling a lot, and so what I've noticed is growing up. Well, one, I was a month premature. Two, I wasn't breastfed, and then three, like growing up in an Italian household, I ate pastas, since forever, and so I had gut issues growing up. I was sensitive to gluten, dairy, fungal and parasite issues. So I've always, I would say, I think I actually was only breastfed for like 2 weeks and then put on formula. And that was the best my mom knew at the time, which is fine. But what I've seen is over the years, I've had a more compromised immune system. And so when I travel, for example, like, and we've hung out, like I'm on the road a lot. And so what I've noticed is like travel, I mean, it'll beat down anyone. Lack of sleep, time zones, food changes,
radiation,
bed changes, all that shit. And so I would know like almost to a T when I would be traveling, like after 5 days or 7 days of being on the road, I would usually catch a cold. And that was one of the things that I personally noticed is a more of like a balancing of the immune system. And it's been pretty striking where I've been on the road for 3 weeks and been, pushing it at a level that, normally a week into it, I would have gotten sick. And I'm like, wow, like I just feel a lot better and a lot more resilient. Just like I was saying, how they might use it in those indigenous cultures before they would go on a hunt. So before they would go on extreme conditions, they would use it to increase the energetic frequency of their body and their resiliency out there. And I personally noticed that for sure.
Yeah. Also, I think it. So now you can do it. Would you you take it with you and do it? I mean, are you allowed to carry it with you? Is it legal to take on planes and stuff?
Yeah, it's fully legal. There's nothing in it that's toxic to the human body.
I mean, but it's not like, I mean, it's like you wouldn't get pulled over for having drugs, for example. No.
No, it's fine. So I've traveled with it. I brought it to Kauai with me. I brought it to Texas with me. And so, yeah. You can just take it with you for sure.
Perfect. And so you notice now that so is it something you'll do if you're traveling? You do it when you're traveling, but otherwise, how do you have breaks from it? Like what do you give your body time to have off, or is it something you do once a week, or what is?
I think it depends on the specific intention of it. Like I know it's being used in therapies for specific, let's just say, ailments, and the protocol, the recommendation might be different, like doing multiple in a short period of time, but you definitely do want to give your body a rest. Like I won't do Kambo for at least probably 6 months after as much as I had in training. And it just really, I think like all these medicines, it's really sitting with when you feel called, right? Like when do you feel you need it? And, sometimes it might be 3 in 3 days and then taking a year off, or it might just be 1 every 2 years, or when I was heading into the training, I was doing it about once a month, and it was also just to develop a deeper connection with the medicine. So it's going to be very individual, but I would say, I remember Paul suggesting, it wasn't Kambo by any means, but Paul was suggesting, I think even in his fungal and parasite course, or even just when he was talking to me, personally about like twice a year, every 6 months, doing like an anti-parasitic and antifungal cleanse or whatever it is can be helpful for most people. And so I was like, oh, this could be helpful twice a year, as a recommendation if someone felt called to it, because there's specific bioactive peptides in Kambo, and each one serves a specific purpose, which is why, like, you were reading that it can help with opioid addictions and stuff like that, because these peptides, some of them, I think 2 of them particularly, bind to specific receptor sites. There's ones that are very good for fungal and parasites and really work on that level. There's ones that are very like vasodilators, which is why it can be helpful for circulation. So each peptide kind of serves a specific function, and there's neuropeptides, the ones that cross the blood-brain barrier. And so it can be very helpful for a number of things. And again, it's going to be individual to the person, what's on that stick. And so it's just like, it's very fascinating to me, super fascinating. And I really do feel this is like the future, like even though it's been around for thousands of years, like I really do feel like this is, especially for performance, not only healing, like I'm excited about it mostly for performance. And there was an article out where they were using it on racehorses, in fact, and the racehorses were getting such an unfair advantage that they had to like ban it or something. So it increases, circulation, all that stuff.
Well, they used it before the race.
I don't know exactly how they were what exactly the timing of it, but they were using it for racing. And so like imagine, like I've got this vision of like supporting fighters or whoever it is, like before a fight camp or before a competition season. Let's say you're a weightlifter, let's say you're a fighter, let's say you're a tennis athlete, and before the season, 8 weeks out, 12 weeks out, whatever it is, you do this. And even whether it's by yourself or with your core group of boys and gals, whoever it is, you guys come together and you do a ceremony together to increase the vitality of the stresses and the season coming up. You set the intention around it. You have a bonding experience that you'll never forget. And you start fresh. That's what I really felt with it. Like when I do it, it feels like I'm starting anew and starting fresh. And so I really feel like it could be something very special for athletes and performance. No, and not so many people are using it for that. I think there's a few, but there's not very many people using it for athletes right now, which is the area that I really want to support.
Well, I always say to people, a healthy body is always going to be a toxic body anyway. So if you're doing things that are going to boost the immune system as well as purge toxins, your body's going to be functioning at a higher level. And therefore, you're going to be more robust. You're going to be more energetic. You're going to think clearer. You're just going to be a better functioning human being. So it makes perfect sense. Really does. I mean, have you listened to? Do you know the guy from? I can't remember his name. From Biooptimizers.
No, it doesn't sound familiar. No, I don't know.
Paul did an episode of him recently. One second, stay there, 1 second. I'm going to make sure. Yeah, 1 second. Just because I want to.
Was that Wade?
It might be. Yeah, it might have been Wade because we've got because Ben Greenfield uses this stuff. I've heard other people use this stuff. Paul uses. He's got product one called Gluten Guardian. He's got another one that breaks down. It's really good for digestive enzymes, and it might be Wade. Yeah, is that Wade? Yeah.
Yeah. Because Paul sent me that podcast and said he was talking about Kambo in there actually.
Right. He did, and this episode because I've listened to so it always says ones you've watched before, previously played episodes. Yeah. Wade Lightheart. That's it. Yeah. And he said he got into competition shape in 3 weeks. That usually take him 12 to 16 because the amount of enzymes he was using. He was using like 250 enzymes a day, and he took Kambo because he was so clean inside and his body was so healed that he just felt his immune system rise, and he said that he wasn't really purging, but he just felt phenomenal. But because he said, like, the reason why fasting works so well is because your body's not having to digest food or anything else. Your enzymes all been used to heal. Your body uses its energy to heal the areas that it's needed to. So if you're using like a lot of enzymes, he's got some really good. I mean, it's a little bit of biohacking, but so what? If it means like being able to go and have a pasta meal with your friends, because you've got something called Gluten Guardian, which obviously allows you to actually to digest the gluten properly in your body, as well as the enzymes and he's got some probiotics there as well, which specifically target. It's like the company Seed. They've got actually human strains of probiotics in there. Have you heard of the company Seed?
I haven't heard of that one.
Mike, come on, sharpen up. No, I'm joking. It's because they were on Mind Pump show Seed. He's like, it's actually in California. It's a bunch of scientists who are actually working specifically with probiotics, and I actually get them here. They're really up to have a look at seed.com. Yeah, have a look at. But he was talking about anyway. But I just thought it was interesting because he was using enzymes to help heal, and I thought like together that and this could be a phenomenal. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. I think it'd be a really good combination. But because I think he actually got a packet, I'm actually going to get his. He's got like a I think it's like 300 and something pounds for like a 3-month protocol. But I might get it and just try and do it in like a month and a half just to see. Like just to really put the enzymes through and see what happens. And he was saying that he was able to train 3 to 5 times a day and not get sore. Because of the amount of the enzymes that are in the body, so it's just repairing his body. So yeah, I mean, he went into a bit more science, and I was listening to it again and saw exactly what specifically was going on. But basically, he was saying, as I said earlier, because he wasn't having to deal with, it wasn't really hard to break down the food. The body was like digesting the food, assimilating the food very, very easily. And then when he was doing it, basically the enzymes were digesting the food so much and so quickly that they could then get through and start to heal his body and like deal with lactic acid, any free radicals, like ATP function, etc. So it's really interesting. So have a listen to it because it could be something that could go well with what you're saying with your combo.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's also and I think they're. It might be I mean, most people are in California. I think when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, so it works quite well, right? But I think he's in California. But yeah, I mean, because I think I first come across them on Ben Greenfield's website where he's got like Ben Recommends. If you click on the website, they've actually got something where he puts steak in 3 different bowls of water. And just to see how it digests. One's got just water in it, one's just got like a normal hydrochloric acid in it, and his one's got his peptide mix and enzymes in it. And within 2 minutes, the one with his is the meat's just completely dissolved, and the others take like hours. And so you're literally like assimilating your food really well, and so it's just breaking it down. So you're literally, and so he's just saying that's why I was able, because I was just like literally. You say people say you are what you eat, but yeah, obviously you are what you assimilate. And so if you're breaking down your food and you're actually getting all the goodness from it, it's a different ball game, right?
100%.
And so yeah, listen to it because it'd be interesting what you think about when he says about the combo, because that was the first time apart from you I've actually heard it even brought up. So yeah, I mean, do there many other people that in like Czech professionals that are using it, or are you like the first one to really get into it?
I don't know anyone, although I know Czech professionals who have used it themselves, but no one that's serving it. Like actually, I think the first person to actually tell me about Kambo years ago was Jator, who's one of Jator Pierre, who's one of Paul's faculty. And he's actually, he's out. He was living in the States for a long time. He's one of my closest friends. I've done some IG Live. We've done some stuff together. Now he lives in Denmark. He just moved there like a year ago. And very, very like heart-centered, very knowledgeable cat. And so he actually first told me about it years ago. And he was using it back then. Yeah.
What's his name? Jator?
Jator Pierre.
Oh, Pierre. So how comes he moved to Denmark? Met a girl, did he?
So he actually did meet a girl, but he didn't meet it till she was over there. And so now he is with the gal there. And he got some sweet deal. Like he just it's interesting. Like, you know, Jator very, very skilled on exercise and kinesiology. Again, he was one of Paul's faculty, but he really has been drawn over the years to more the nutrition side of stuff and the mental emotional coaching. So he's also he's done some work with, I think, Chris Kresser. So he's like one of his, he's gone through his program and used a lot of his stuff. And then also a guy named Journeys of Wisdom, or the organization is Journeys of Wisdom. And John McMullen is the guy who runs that. And that's all about like mental emotional coaching. But what I love about Jator is he's brought like these 3 worlds and made it his own. And so it's been interesting because, I mean, he was always, I think, successful out here. Don't get me wrong. But as soon as he moved to Denmark, one of the most interesting things he shared with me, he's like he's booked out, not only for one-on-one clients, but also like his programs are just like selling like crazy. And it's just the people in Denmark and the culture of Denmark, and like every house he was telling me, I think, has like non-toxic paint, and like he's got a farmer's market across the street. So like culturally, it's just a very like that culture, for whatever the reason and what their government or their system, it's just like a plug-in for his, like they get it, they get him. Whereas here, there's definitely a lot of people who are into it, but it's like there's much more barriers, and maybe it's like that in the UK. But he really found a place that's like very much, the people are very much in alignment with everything that we do and we teach.
Yeah, I think over here it's getting bigger, but yeah, it's still like there's still some resistance. It's like you've got to follow him, and your followers absolutely love what you say. There's other people like, I mean, a lot of people have to learn the hard way, right? It is what it is, and because they're just used to it, the paint doesn't bother them. They don't think it does anyway, and their bed sheets don't bother them, and their perfume doesn't bother them, and their toothpaste doesn't bother them, and their hair gel doesn't bother them, and their soap doesn't bother them, and their non-organic food doesn't bother them, and their their metal pans don't bother them until they do, and that's the issue, right? And then when it does bother them, let's hope they haven't got an advanced disease. Let's hope it's just a chronic issue that can be sorted out. So this is, I mean, I think it was Ken Wilber. Was it Ken Wilber? He said like for the world to change, it just needs 7% to be conscious. 7% of the world to be conscious for the rest of the world to actually wake up and be changed. So that 7% can affect change. At the moment, we're about 4.5%. And so we've got a little bit of just to go. So the world is waking up. I mean, it is, because there's more of us coming around, but because more and more people are getting ill, you know, and so it's a reason why, you know, as I said, Nixon declared the war on cancer, I think in 1971, when it was 1 in 8 people that got cancer, and that war has been raging now for almost 50 years, and it's now 1 in 1, so that war's going really well. So yeah, you know, it's just money making, and yeah, you know, what's it? The Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York. It's meant to be a cancer specialist hospital. People walk in the front door and they come out the back in a body bag. It's a good business. I know, as I was saying, you know, one of my cousins works there. That's why I know about that one.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's,
you know, what's. Go ahead. I was just going to share. You know what's pretty funny is so I a company called Faraday's sent me some really nice bamboo radiation protective underwear. You got them on?
I got them on. I know. I've interviewed him, but it didn't go through that well. So I have to get him back on the show. He's wicked.
Yeah. Yeah, and I went through the airport recently, and I it was the first time I wore them when I was traveling. And it was so funny, man, because I forgot I was wearing them. I go through the screening thing or whatever you want to call it, and they're like, "Oh, sir, like we're gonna have to pat you down, and do you want a private room?" And I was like, "Dude, just do whatever you got to do. Like I want to go get my flight." And I didn't realize that, like, I guess like on their screen where my private parts are, it was just all like blacked out or shiny like a block. Like they could not get through to see that area. And so they went like into every crevice, and it was so uncomfortable when they were, but I was like, what the fuck was that about? Like why? Like it's never happened to me in my life. And then I was like, oh shit, it's the underwear. The underwear works. And so it was pretty funny. It was pretty wild.
No, it does work. He's wicked. He's actually really knowledgeable. He's in California as well.
Yeah,
he's in California, and yeah, no, I mean, I'm always the one who gets picked out, and they try and put me through the machine, and I just say no, I opt out, and so they always give me a pat down too. They're like, oh, it's fine. Like, well, not by my research, you know, altered DNA at cellular level, so I'm not walking through that. You can pat me down, but yeah, the stuff does work. I have them on quite a lot. I have to get them every six months. I think it's to change them, but you know, great for anyone, because a lot of people have their phone next to their nuts. And so if they forget to do it, it's great just in case people forget, but or just, I mean, in the cars, whatever it is, like, it's just a really, really good product actually, and I'm getting him on my side. I just have to get him back on. He's I think he might be getting a good Black Friday deal going as well.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, do you use the blue blocks from Andy Mamps as well? Andy Mamps.
I have blue blockers, but not from that company.
But it's called Blue Blocks, BLUBLOX.
Okay, no, I don't know those yet.
He's wicked. I mean, we get a 10% discount on ours, so put in Revive, 10% discount again. But they're like, most blue blockers are like made in China. He's actually opticians in Australia. They're like top quality, and also you can send him any frames you want. And he'll do the glasses for you. So and Andy Mant's really nice guy. He's actually a top guy. I've had him on the show. He's been interviewed by quite a few people now himself as well. He's getting a big growing. He just had like one of the top models in the world wear his glasses actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's good. It's like Dr. Nick Berry as well. You've spoken to him?
No, I haven't spoken to him.
But do you know about Dr. Nick Berry?
Yeah.
He's another one out in Portland, Oregon, we want to go to. But he's like another one who, these people, we deal with them and you speak to them and you know that they're real people. You know, they actually care. It's like, and that's a big thing. Like when you have no problem promoting their products because they're so passionate about them and they're not selling rubbish. So it's like sometimes people say, "Oh, you." Supplements, etc., like we're talking about, or this or that, but it's everything that we're promoting is because we're doing it for people so they can get healthy and stay healthy, especially in this toxic world. We're not doing it. We're not selling crap. We wouldn't do that, right? It just wouldn't feel right. We could both be sitting here selling crap, right? But it's just, and that's why, unfortunately, like it does cost a little bit more. But say there's nothing more expensive than a supplement that doesn't work. So you're paying. Usually, you buy cheap, you buy twice. So what's next on the agenda, Mike?
Man, I'm honestly figuring that out. I've got since I got back, I've been in an interesting space of like I love teaching movement, and I've been getting so much fulfillment out of serving Kambo and some of this other inner work. And so I'm really trying to think about a way how to integrate them both, whether I'm going to be start doing some small retreats where I integrate both movement and kind of medicine and personal growth. So that's on the agenda. I'm letting it unfold as it's going to unfold. But I've got 2 programs that I'm working on right now. One, it's going to be a smaller kettlebell program that'll be released in the new year. Got the podcast coming out. So those are kind of the biggest things. And also, of course, like I'm definitely gonna do a solid special for Black Friday on the Mastering the Kettlebell program. So I just want to get that program out to as many people as possible, and support people in their journey.
Awesome, my man. So and people find you at www.mikesalemi.com.
.io.
What's IO?
Someone had taken .com, but .io was just whatever the consultant or whatever that I hired. He was just like, "Oh, the .io is the future." So get that. I guess it's what tech people use. And I was like, "Dude, I really don't know." Whatever you.
Right. Mine is .co. Just because I was like this .co, reviveyourself.co, but MikeSalemi.io.
Yep, and then on Instagram is just Mike.Salemi, and you can see me on there. I'll post tips and all sorts of good stuff.
Salemi is spelt
Salemi.
Perfect. Mike, absolute pleasure, mate. Great talking to you.
Loved it, brother. Great connecting. Appreciate you.
So there we have it, guys and girls. Episode 138 with Mike Salemi. He's just such a great guy to talk to. Really positive all the time, always smiling. He's just great. And said on the show, if you haven't checked out his kettlebell mastery course, then definitely go and do that. I think he said it was at MikeSalemi.io. And yeah, I mean, fascinating conversation all about Kambo, how it can boost the immune system, how it allows the body to purge. And yeah, he's an exciting guy. If you're not following Mike on Instagram, then go and follow him once again at Mike.Salemi on Insta. He's always up to something. In fact, he said he has been doing a little bit of a digital detox after that retreat, which I can actually totally understand. Myself, someone unfortunately has stolen my phone from my pocket on Saturday in London, and I haven't got a phone for the moment. So I've had a bit of a digital detox myself, and it's one sense really liberating, another sense it shows you how much we are linked to these phones, because I'm constantly thinking, I haven't checked this, I haven't checked that, someone going to contact me. And so, stepping away from it for a while, it's even feelings a little bit anxious, and I never get feelings about being anxious because you don't know what's going on. Really interesting. It's something that I'm going to actually be getting someone on the show to talk about this, the whole digital detox thing, because I think it's very, very important. Don't have it on me all the time, but with the fact that it's there and I'm able to check stuff, it's having it there, it's like a safety net, which when it's taken away, it can be quite daunting. Anyway, that was episode 138 with Mike Salemi. As always, if you're looking to overcome a health issue that you've been struggling with for a long period of time and you've got no relief from doing things the traditional way, modern medicine, then please give me an email at ryan@reviveyourself.co, or go to www.reviveyourself.co and click the contact tab, fill out the form, and I'll get in touch with you as soon as possible, and we can book a call to have a chat about how we can help you, because I know that we can. And if you haven't already, look at our testimonials. If you go to www.reviveyourself.co and click on our testimonial links, you'll be able to see all the people we've helped from with all manner of different health or chronic issues. Otherwise, that's it for today, guys and girls. I hope you've enjoyed this show. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
If you're struggling with gut issues, such as gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, heartburn, and want to finally be able to eat the foods you love without the crippling after effects, then don't forget to head over to reviveyourself.co and pick up your free copy of The Healing Health Paradigm today.